Okay, so we've looked at logs, and we've looked at the fact that maybe we've looked at these two logs mostly. So these are the most common ones. This is base 10, even though they may not say it. Okay, and this is often called ln. This is, to do with money. This is to do with, it's called the natural log. We can have a look at why it's called that. And these are your two main ones. So if you go and look at your calculator, you will find those two buttons on your calculator. We're actually lucky. You find a third button for us, which allows you to put in any base you'd like. Lots of calculators, different countries don't have that. So if you go to your log tables, what I'd like you to notice is these first three, well, especially the first two, you have to be in the same base. Now, if we got a question where we were to try and add logs that weren't in the same base, we cannot use this formula. But it's good that they give us this change base formula here. So I guess my priorities on this page are, I want to be exceptional at using this rule, going in and out of logs. These three are your most common, I'd say, rules. And if I'm not using one of these rules, I'm probably going to use the change base formula so that I can use one of these rules. So the next thing I want to be good at is these three rules, and then I want to be good at my change of base. It's quite easy. And in your log tables, it says log x in the base b is equal to log x in the base a over log b in the base a. And that might look a little bit complicated, but it's actually not at all. Let's say this was base 10, which they've told me it is, and I'd rather write it as base 2. Well, what am I going to do? The x is the 1000. The b is the base. Okay. And a, I don't know what that is, because it's whatever base I want to be in. So let's say we choose base 2. In a minute we'll choose base 5, maybe something like that. So if we compare, there's my x. So in this situation, it happens to be log of 1000 in the base 10. So if I want to change base, it's log of 1000 over log of 10. And whatever base I'd like to be in is what I put in now. So I'm going to go for base 2. And that's it in its new form. Maybe you think that looks more complicated. Yeah, in this situation it does. I'm pretty sure I know the answer to that is 3. 10 to the power of what gives me 1000? It's 3. Now I get the same answer if I worked this out. So if you want to, you could type it into your calculator and make sure it is the same thing. If I wanted to, I could have had it in the base 5. I would have had log of the x, which happens to be 1000 in this situation, over log of the base. And my new base, I might put as, I don't know, 5, whatever. You could have log in the base e if you'd prefer to change it to base e. It just depends on the question. And I want to show you why we might need this. If you had a question where they had maybe log 3x and the base was 4 plus log x plus 1, and the base was 2. And they asked me to write that in a simpler form. Okay, well, I can't get out of logs. That's the first rule I generally check. Can't get out yet. So the next thing I'll try and add my logs using this rule, because it says I can add them, and if I have the same base, I can just multiply those two things. Now, I don't have the same base. So I either do nothing here and say this is as simple as it gets, or I go to my calc or my log tables, I get my change of base formula, here it is, and I apply it. Generally, I'll try and make the bigger number the same base as the smaller number. Just try and get them into, like, remember, logs are to do with indices. So 4 is the same as 2 to the power 2, you know. So I would like to change this base, and I'm going to change it to base 2. Now, it should work the same, but sometimes it works out a little bit nicer if you take the bigger number and you bring it down to a smaller base. So I'm going to change this, so log of 3x in the base 2, my new base, over log of 4 in the base 2. And that's just me following my formula. Log of whatever this was, happens to be a 3x in this situation, over log of the base. And I was deciding to have a base 2, so that's why you have a whatever number you want. Okay, plus log of x plus 1 in the base 2. What is log of 4 in the base 2? Well, you could type that into the calculator, or you could just, maybe you know the answer off the top of your head, it's 2. So we have log of 3x in the base 2 over 2 plus log of x plus 1 in the base 2. Now, at least now they're in the same base. I'm not saying this is a simple question to simplify, but at least they're in the same base. So to divide by 2, well, I guess let's just stop there and make sure that you're happy with everything that I did. I changed my base because I want to make this a bit simpler. To me, this is a bit simpler, but I think I can get it to be more, to look nicer. So I'm going to keep going. If you want to, you can stop the video now and just practice your change of base formula yourself. And then you could try questions in your book, like question 14 part 1 and question 15 part 1 on page 188. But if you want to see a little bit more, just keep going with the video. I'm going to make this look a little bit simpler, and I'm going to again try to use rules in my log tables to do that. So this might just get you more familiar with other rules in your log tables. So to divide by 2 is the same as multiplying by a half. So this is a half times log 3x in the base 2. I hope you can see that they're the same thing. That divided by 2 is the exact same as that multiplied by a half, plus log of x plus 1 in the base 2. Can I go any further? Don't know, I need to be more familiar with my log tables. Can I add them yet? Well, that has a number in front. There's no number here. So can you see that? Move this out of the way. That there has a number in front, but when I see this rule here, there's no number in front. So the only one that has a number in front is the third rule down, and it says I can bring it up as a power. Okay, and now what can I do? Well, the power of a half is the same as the square root. Now I think I can apply this rule, which says I can multiply these two things here. And I think that's as simple as this will get. Root 3x times x plus 1 in the base 2. Now if you can, maybe multiply that out. Again, when they say to simplify, they just want you to go until it is as simple as you can possibly make it. So that's x root 3x plus root 3x. Whichever of those probably looks a bit simpler to you. I'd nearly leave it at this, but just in case, showing you, it wouldn't have mattered if you multiplied out. Normally they'll say, oh, simplify this and let your answer be in a certain form. So this particular video, I just continued on with the question that I'd made up, but the main thing I wanted you to see was at the start of the video, which was the change of base formula, and you know why we'd even bother to use the change of base formula, so that we can eventually apply maybe these other rules here, because we can't apply these top rules if we're in a different base. So you can practice your change of base formula and see how you get on with it.